Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Matthew Morrison. I'm a graduate nursing student at Millersville University. I'm in a nursing informatics program, and for this week, we're going to be doing a podcast assignment interviewing someone in nursing leadership or management about informatics in the workplace. I have with me Jess Ryder. She is an assistant nurse manager at the CVICU. Jess, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I'm pretty new to this role. Within the last year, I've been a cardiac ICU nurse for almost 13 years and have recently transitioned to this job and everything that goes with it.
Cool. Well, thanks for taking the time today. To kick it off, what technologies do you think are essential to the work that you're doing now as an assistant nurse manager?
Um, Obviously, the main technology we use is Cerner, which is our charting system, along with our Catman, which is our patient transport and placement system. One thing I now use a lot more than I used to is our Midas, which is our patient safety reporting system. Look through that more frequently now. Other technologies I use a lot is Smart Square, which is our scheduling system for all of our staff. And our Teams, which we use for a lot of our meetings and where we store a lot of information.
Okay. So for the next question I had was, what data do you analyze on a regular basis? I'm Mike gonna kind of shift that a little bit. I mean, you can answer that one first, and then also for the Midas system, the reporting system, I'm wondering how much information you get out of that and how often you interact with it, and then what happens to that information after you've received it.
So as far as data on a regular basis, I receive a lot of emails that someone from nursing informatics, I'm sure, pulls, looking at a lot of hypoglycemic events in our units, making sure all admission assessments are being completed, restraint audits, those kinds of things we look at on a regular daily basis. Midas, I try to look at it daily, look at it at least through 2 to 3 to 4 times a week that I log in and go through the events. For me, I read through what's entered about all the patients that are in our units, and then kind of put any input that I have, either information that I've received from staff or anything that I note in the chart. And then our risk management team reviews all the events in the hospital and takes it up the chain and finds solutions as needed as well.
Okay. So it sounds like the Midas system doesn't necessarily notify you of events that are entered within the unit. It would be something you have to check yourself to make sure you're keeping on top of.
So actually I do have it set up. There's a notification setting that I actually do get an email whenever something is entered in. But being a secured system, I don't get any more information than that. I have to log into the system to be able to look at anything.
Okay, interesting. The quality metrics you were mentioning earlier, things like restraint audits and the other stuff you had mentioned, is there any overlap between that system and the Midas system?
No, no overlap that I'm aware of.
Okay. Only if there'd be a problem with one of those things, I'm imagining, then it would have to be
And
entered.
someone would put something in. Yes. Someone would have to enter it separately into that system.
Okay, interesting.
Mhm.
For you personally, can you share any examples of how informatics has revolutionized healthcare delivery or patient outcomes?
It's definitely made it a lot safer. I started as a nursing assistant when we still did a lot of stuff on paper, which we were reading off doctor's orders and entering them into the computer. And as anyone can imagine, a lot of doctors' handwriting was not easy to read. So it's definitely made it safer in the sense that they enter their orders in. So it's not anyone interpreting them and putting them in the system. Um, yeah, also, it's easier to send information electronically about patients that are being transferred and those kinds of things versus sending fax with their charts and those kinds of things. It's definitely made it a lot safer and condensed a lot of information into one place.
That does seem helpful. I'm assuming that it also speeds up a lot of those processes too, since everything is all condensed and it's easier to access and multiple people can access at one time,
Mhm.
just having a single paper copy of a chart everybody's
Mhm.
trying to fight for.
Yes.
Um,
We used to have to send physicians pictures of EKGs and this and that, through our secured stuff, and now they just log in and can look at all those things themselves.
gotcha. And what do you see the role of technology, or how do you see the role of technology evolving in nursing practice?
It's definitely going to evolve, become smarter, better ways to do things, more ways to do things. I mean, something we've kind of recently started doing is using the tele observation for patients. That's definitely a advance in technology that's new. Still kind of trialing out some of the telestroke and the telehemonc consults. So using technology gives more options.
Gotcha. Telehealth is huge right now, and that's something I'm following personally. I think it's going to be fantastic in the coming years, and it's going to really just completely improve how we do healthcare, especially in the primary care setting and urgent care setting.
Mm-hmm.
It really is going to make things a lot more convenient, a lot faster, and a lot more cost effective for everybody
Mm-hmm.
to have telehealth options.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for evolution of technology, I guess we would kind of have to mention this now because it's something that's so big as we're progressing further with more technological capability. Do you see AI impacting nursing care at all? Do you see it being implemented in the near future? Are there any options for that that you think could be possible in our work environment?
Ooh. Maybe for little things. It's not going to take out everything by any means. You need intervention, you need brains. We all know technology can be wrong. They can interpret things wrong, they can see things wrong. Um, the telehealth, the telemedicine, the tele ICU nurse for a second set of eyes and sign offs and those things. Yes, those are evolving, and I see those very soon coming. Hard to say about artificial intelligence, how much that could potentially do.
Okay, yeah, it's been a big discussion, especially in these classes we've been talking about. And there was a symposium that we attended last semester where they were discussing AI and like the ER for triage and improving workflow through the ER. I was just curious if there was anything in the ICU setting, but I know there can be limitations with technology still. So
Mhm.
in that critical thinking environment, I think we have to
Mhm.
evaluate risk versus benefit and really making sure that before anything like that's implemented, the technology is up to speed to be
Mhm.
safe in that environment.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe eventually. I definitely wouldn't never say never, but we're definitely not there yet. It's
Yeah,
not smart enough for that.
got some steps to go.
Hmm.
Um, we kind of covered that. I wanted to ask about some like innovative technologies that we've been implementing into our practice here, but you kind of mentioned it with the telestroke and the telehealth or the telestroke, um, and the teleobservation stuff.
Hmm.
Um, how do you see, or how do you ensure effective communication, collaboration between the departments that manage like these technologies, like the telemedicine carts and the teleobservation, and then our organization's management teams to achieve the same goals?
Trying to think about that one. I mean, it's definitely like any with any technology, any system, it's not perfect. There's definitely some areas for improvement on that system. I'm not personally involved with a lot of those meetings and setup of all the telecarts and those kinds of things, but I know the people who are very receptive to all of our feedback and the problems that we're having with it, and meet with their leadership to kind of find where it's good and safe to be used and the problems that we're having with it and what we're doing to correct those problems.
So it sounds like there's at least good open exchange back and forth, and they're receptive to our concerns to help make sure everything is focused on patient safety and care.
Mhm. Mhm.
All right, and we are just about out of time, but just one last question. What is your number one electronic source to use for obtaining knowledge?
Ooh, for obtaining knowledge. I mean, if we're talking about like patient knowledge, obviously our Cerner, our charting system, general knowledge, our InfoNet, we use that a lot. All the policies, procedures, other information, all of our human resource guides and those kinds of things are all in there. So I use that a lot on a daily basis too.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's about all the time we have here. So thank you so much, and
Yep,
appreciate your assistance with this process and helping me out today.
no problem. Have a good one.